How's everyone doing today? It's your host, Zach Shoemaker, and today I'm being joined by a top 100 ranked recruit, a four-star, and the second commit in Iowa State's top 10 ranked recruiting class. He's one of the top players in the state of Minnesota and just wrapped up his final AAU season playing for D1 Minnesota. He also is the 11th highest ranked recruit in Iowa State history, and that's Eli King. You're back on the court now. You played through AAU this past summer a little bit. You're committed to Iowa State. Take us through how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Everything's healthy again, so it's been nice to get back out on the court. Played a couple weekends of AAU. Just enjoyed being back out there.
You know, walk us through this recruiting process because you obviously kept it on the down low pretty well. Not too many people knew about it. And all of a sudden, we started seeing the reports coming out. You're committed to Iowa State, joined Taman Lipsey out there. Now Demarion joined you guys as well. But just take us through this whole process. Like, what ultimately led you to Iowa State, and why is this for the place you're going to be starting off your college career at?
Yeah, I think being at a small town, it kind of my recruitment's always been probably quieter.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a few schools, but the coaching staff just stood out at Iowa State, and I've known Coach Otz for a while now, and it was just the energy they have and the culture they're trying to build stood out to me the most. So that's why I chose them.
That's what's unique about you because you're not obviously new to Coach Otz and you know him. You've seen him for a long time now. He coached your brother for a little bit. How big was that for you? Kind of getting to see what he's like as a coach from the past few years, and how big was that for you ultimately in your process?
Yeah, it was definitely big. Our
Mhm.
first phone call, once he got the job at Iowa State, I already knew everything about him. I knew the style of play he wants and everything like that. So it skipped a lot of stuff that we would need to talk about with other coaches that we didn't have to. So it definitely sped the process up and was nice knowing his background.
So, what really were some of your biggest schools that you were looking at? Because obviously, you weren't on social media too much to talk about that. So, we know schools like Marquette offered you. Northern Iowa was one of your first ones. Iowa's in the mix. Stanford, Minnesota. Like, who all really did it come down to for you? And really, like, was there a top two, a top three, even for you personally?
It was like those were the only schools that offered me. There were some other ones that talked
Mhm.
but never offered. I'd say the top two are definitely Iowa State and Iowa. It was between them towards the end. So, but yeah, I liked a lot of them. Had good conversations with all the coaches. So it was I enjoyed the process and stuff, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
So, at what point would you say Iowa State kind of separated themselves? Like, when did you start feeling, this is where I want to play? And what really was the biggest reason that separated Iowa State from Iowa?
I'd say probably a couple weeks after Coach Otz got the job, I started just they were calling me nonstop. They really showed that they wanted me, and which I always enjoyed all my conversations with Iowa and Coach McCaffrey. So it
Mhm.
wasn't like anything happened with them that turned me away from them. It was just more Iowa State, getting to know them and the program, the direction they want their program going. That stood out to me, and that's why I went with them.
And in this 2022 recruiting class, it's still getting going, but you guys, like I said, have three guys now. You join one of your former teammates, Taman, now. You just got done playing with each other on the AAU circuit. Also, you guys have Demarion, but how big was Taman in that process for you? Because he was committed there. He got locked in too. Like, how big was it for you two to possibly go out there and now team up at Iowa State?
Yeah, it's that was really big. Knowing that you have a guy that's a super good kid and then also a great basketball player, and you can play together with him, play at the same time, and everything, and have someone like that was obviously very important. So, I mean, I'd say it was big, and definitely knowing someone you can room with. I mean, just a good guy that you'll have no matter what. So, I mean, it was definitely it was another very positive.
Obviously, Iowa State fans are going to be excited for you two. You guys are going to be out there, develop, rather be for 1 to 4 years, somewhere in between there. So, how special can you two be together? Like, when you talk about forming a dynamic duo in the backcourt long term, like, how special can you two be?
Yeah, I think we can be very special. I think it's obviously going to take a lot of work, but I think the
Mhm.
pace and the system of Coach Otz's program will help us and help us get to the best that we can be together. So,
Marin's the newest guy. He just joined on to you guys to help give you guys a top 10 recruiting class. Where's your relationship like with him? Like, how close are you guys, and how excited to be able to go out there and play with him eventually, too?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know him a whole lot, but I've
Mhm.
known him a little bit for a while, and then we were down on campus together, me, him, and Taman. So I got to know him a little bit more there. Seems like another really good kid and everything. So, which is the type of guys Coach Otz has been bringing in. So I mean, that's really nice to see. And yeah, I'm looking forward. He also fits the way we want to play and gives us a big, long guy who can shoot it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So, do you think the class is pretty much set now? Do you guys think you guys still have some other guys you're recruiting? Like, what could this 2022 class look like by the time you guys head out there as freshmen?
I think for the most part, it's probably wrapped up. I think maybe one more, depending on who they can get. Or I'm not positive, but I know they're still talking to a couple. I'm not really sure whether they would. I don't think they need to get one, but they might. So I don't know yet.
We know there's one big emphasis that really Coach TJ has been really emphasizing on recently, and that is Minnesota talent. There's a ton of talent come out of there recently. So you're going to be joining that. Demarion's obviously joining that. Like, how big is that for a program to be investing in Minnesota? And how bright is the future of Minnesota in terms of talent possibly coming to Iowa State?
Yeah, I think Minnesota's been really good for the last how many years, and
Mhm.
is going to continue to be good. And there's a bunch of kids in my grade that are good and going to high programs, and I think it's going to keep on coming. And definitely would be nice to build a relationship with the state and get a lot of more guys.
There's one big thing I know a lot of people from Minnesota always ask, and that's you look at the past 4 or 5 years, the talent's coming out is insane between your class. You got Kendall and Jalen Suggs and Chet Holmgren. You got so much different talent coming out of there. Like, how big was Minnesota recruiting at any point? And like, what will it take for Coach Johnson now to possibly start getting guys to stay home?
Yeah, I think he was put in a tough spot with when he got the job for
Mhm.
my grade. I mean, it's just every other school who had been recruiting me, or I'm sure other kids who had already been talking to us for 3 months or whatever, maybe longer in some cases. So I think he was in a tough spot, and I think hopefully next year he has a better recruiting class. I mean, it was we had great conversations when I talked to him. So
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I think he'll have a lot of guys to pick from. I think so. I think if he can get a couple every year or something, that'll be really good for him.
So do you think, let's say he was either in store, like he was the head coach during your entire recruiting process, or even they had Coach Pitino was originally recruiting in-state talent, like would staying home ever entertained you? Could that have been something that had a coach invest in you earlier on? Like, could you possibly have seen yourself and other Minnesota guys team up there?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have been interested in it, and definitely would have appealed to me. I don't know if it would have changed anything. I don't know about that, but definitely would have been appealing, and to see what would have happened.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into what you're bringing to Iowa State. We know you're a combo guard. You can run 1, 2, can probably guard three positions or even more. But take us through ultimately like what you're bringing to Iowa State.
Yeah, I think I'm just bringing a guard that can defend multiple positions, like you said. Athletic and can rebound, can help out, can pass. I mean, I think pretty good at getting to the rim. So I think just kind of can do it all. I'd say very balanced for everything. I mean, definitely developing things like my jumper to get more consistent there to add that level of my game too. But just a guy who's going to play hard and be a good teammate the entire time too.
Now, no one knows in today's world with the transfer portal and stuff, like what the roster will look like when you get out there. But what does coach want you to bring your freshman season? Like, is there a certain role he wants you to be, a starter, possibly a key bench piece? Like, what kind of your expectations? And also, what has coach told you that he kind of wants you to bring as a freshman?
Yeah, I mean, I think all he really expects me to bring is just effort and enthusiasm, energy, and just see what happens. I mean, work my butt off every single day, and if I do that, I'll have a chance. I don't know what the role will be, but I'll have a chance to play, and we'll see what that role is when that time comes. But I'm not sure on what that'll be yet. It'll probably all depend on how I do and everything, which is obviously understandable.
Now, this is a proud fan base, something that I think a lot of people should be excited for because a few years ago they had Coach Hoiberg out there, and we know all the stuff they were able to accomplish during that run. The past few years hasn't been as bright, but the fans are heavily invested in the program. You guys have the talent. You guys are in the Big 12. Like there's tons of opportunity to become a top program once again. So what will it take to reach that point? Like what will it take for you guys to eventually get back to the point of being in the tournament year in, year out, competing in the Big 12? Like how do you guys get to that point again?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing's getting a staff that's right for it, which I think they have. So I mean, a staff that's working together, going to bring energy with the guys and get everyone on the same page. The locker room's going to be right with the culture and stuff. So I think if you got guys pulling in different directions, that's not a good thing. So I think if we're all headed one direction, that's the first main step, and then it's just working hard every single day, bringing effort, bringing energy, and just playing together.
What's the culture you feel out there? Because obviously each coach has a different kind of culture and kind of the identity behind the team. What would you say that is for Coach TJ? Like, what does he kind of want to establish in each of his teams? Like, what's kind of the culture he wants behind each team?
Yeah, I think he just wants hardworking guys that are going to put in time, and
Mhm.
I mean not selfish. I think with the staff, the culture, they got a lot of energetic guys, a lot of yellers, not in bad ways but good ways.
Mhm.
Help the team bring energy too. So I think that's the main thing that like they're going to be pushing us too, and I think the guys will also respond. And the ones I know a little bit there, seem to be doing that. So.
So who are some of those guys? Like, is there anyone you say you kind of got close to recently or someone you like talking to a lot at Iowa State right now? Are they players or coaches?
I know Caleb Drill really good.
Mhm.
I have known him for a while. The other ones I just know a little bit, not much. Nobody specific. So, but yeah, know I've known him for a few years now. So he's the biggest one.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of let fans kind of get to know you a little bit better. And we've talked about it a few times, but you obviously have grown up in Minnesota. That's where you're from. You're playing high school out there right now. What's it been like just growing up out there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously in a smaller town, so
Mhm.
it's nice. I mean, small school and everything. Get I'd say you're closer with your friends when you are at a small school. So I've enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy the area. I mean, we got a house out in the country and stuff like that. So it's probably different from a lot of people who are going to play college basketball and stuff, and probably not as much publicity, I'll say. But I mean, yeah, I've enjoyed it all the time, and I love it here.
That's what really makes you guys unique because, like you said, it's a small area in a state that maybe doesn't even have as much attention as some other states do. But you look at your family, your brother currently is playing JUCO, your other brother Owens went Division 1, he's now playing Division 2. Like you're going Division 1 now. Like, how have you guys done this? And just what's it been like growing up in a family where all these athletes are kind of merging in terms of the siblings?
Yeah, I think it was always just what our parents got us doing right away from the start. I mean, we were always doing stuff together, always around sports. We got a lot of family, so we got a lot of cousins that are older than us. We'd always play with things like that. I just say we've always been doing stuff from the start, and we've enjoyed doing it and competing with each other.
I have to imagine you guys have played a lot of one-on-one games, key in the court growing up. So you got to take us through that. Like, how are those games when you guys go out there and play one-on-one or key in the court?
Yeah, I definitely didn't go good for me for a while. So now I'd say now it's getting pretty even all the way around. So I mean, it's just fun to be able to go and do and compete, and anyone can win any day. So I mean, when you all three are at that level and be able to have fun with each other and also compete and get into it with each other, it makes it more fun.
When did you start getting some wins? Like, when did you start feeling like, I can actually compete with these guys? I'm trying to be able to win some games even.
Yeah, I'd say probably last year during kind of when we with the quarantining and stuff, they came back with colleges going online. I'd say we were doing stuff a lot, and that was when more. I would say it kind of. I felt more confident myself, and games were always closer, even if I wasn't winning. So
That's pretty big too, because you have two brothers gone through the recruiting process. They kind of understood now what college basketball is like. How big has that been for you as a recruit now, kind of seeing two different guys go through their process?
yeah, it's been nice. Just meeting different coaches too, and just getting to know how they run their programs, different things like that. Obviously, Owen knowing Coach Otz and being recruited by him obviously helped me with my decision and getting to know him. I mean, without him getting recruited by him, maybe me and Coach Otz wouldn't have had the same relationship so quick. So yeah, I've been blessed to be obviously be younger than them and see them go through it, and also now blessed to meet Coach Otz and be playing for him at Iowa State.
Another unique aspect to you, and we mentioned a little bit earlier, but you haven't always been on social media. You've always limited that aspect. And in today's world where it's pretty much all about social media, guys are constantly on it via recruiting process just for fun. You've been off for a majority of the time. You just got on Instagram recently. Take us through that aspect. Like, what's kind of led you to kind of stay away from social media as much as you can throughout the majority of your life so far?
Yeah, I'd say it was always my parents. I mean, they've always basically stressed to me what's important and that I never really needed that aspect. I mean, I didn't get a phone last till May of my junior year. So, I mean, I never really had the opportunity to be on it, even if I wanted to be. So, which I also agree I didn't need it. Like, I mean, I still think there's a lot more important things and a lot of things I could have been focusing. And so I am focusing on instead of that. So,
Now, and like I said, a lot of guys obviously have the opposite mindset of that, the worry about the branding aspect and that stuff. But what would you say have been some of the biggest pros you've got from not being on social media your whole life?
I'd say just always being focused on basketball or whatever I'm doing sports wise. I mean, no distractions. A lot of people are probably sitting on their phone for a couple hours a day. When if I get bored on the couch, I'm not on my phone. I just go do something. I mean, instead of having something to take my mind off, just sitting there and going on my phone, I can take my mind off it by going and doing something. And also having brothers to go do stuff with also help me.
Absolutely. Well, you're not only great at basketball. Obviously, you decide that that's the sport you want to pursue here on out. But you've grown up playing football as well. You were a top-ranked recruit for football, played quarterback, had offers from schools like Notre Dame, Iowa, Minnesota, etc. Take us through that aspect of you. Like, when did you first start playing football, and what really drove you to have that passion in that sport?
Yeah, I'd say I started playing football when I was really young. Also,
Mhm.
I'd say our family's more probably on my mom's side at least more of a football family. So I was always doing that right away when I was young, and I've always really enjoyed doing it. And I was always driven to. I mean, I enjoyed it when I was young, so I was always wanting to be the best I could be at it and wanting to be able to possibly play college. Who knew? I didn't know which sport for a while. So I mean, yeah, I just always enjoyed doing it and always wanted to be the best I could be at it.
Which sport was your first one? Like, was basketball first, football first, and when did you kind of grow into both sports?
Yeah, I'd say it was always basketball by a little bit. I'd say like I mean, played on varsity in basketball first. I'd say that probably put it ahead by a little bit because I was playing at the highest level I could. So I'd say basketball has always been a little bit ahead, and then as I've gotten older, it's gotten to be a little bit bigger of a gap.
And now the streak did come to a close last night. You guys had won 71 straight games, and you were really one of the main vocal points of that massive streak. So take us through that. Like, how did you learn to accept that role, taking on the quarterback job, longest streak in the country? Just what was it like going throughout your high school career playing football?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot playing my freshman and sophomore year at wide receiver. And then
Mhm.
when I switched to quarterback, I mean that probably gave us the best chance to win. So I was always fine playing either. I enjoyed both, and I just made a lot of friends during it playing. I'm obviously happy I played the years that I did. So yeah, I enjoyed it and got the most out of it when I did play. So now I really have no regrets not playing now.
And it's extremely hard for anyone to get college offers at any sport, but for you to get them at two sports, have high majors recruiting in two sports, that has been done before, but it's not too typical. So, how did you learn to balance it? Like, how did at that point in time did you learn to balance two sports and become a Division I level player in two different sports?
Yeah, I was always very fortunate to be having people around me helping me and giving me the opportunities to play. I mean, my family gave me a bunch of opportunities to play AAU football wise. I always got to do stuff around here, whatever, whether it was playing up or not, just playing outside. So I always enjoyed doing both. So I always wanted to do both. It wasn't like I didn't want to go play football and people were making me after basketball. I always wanted to do the other one too. So I'd say I enjoyed them, which helped push me. And it's not as easy when you're struggling and you don't enjoy doing it. Then it's work. It was more fun for me.
Obviously, you had an injury. We're going to touch up on that in a second, but what ultimately led you to choose basketball? Because, like I said, you could have went to Division I, two different sports. Potentially, there could have even been an opportunity to, I'm not sure, to play two sports at one school. Like, what ultimately led you to the point in saying, I want to pursue basketball. This is really what I want to put all my effort into.
Yeah, I'd say I just started enjoying it more. I mean, I've
Mm.
football. I enjoy the every day of basketball, the working out, the practices, and all that. Football, I feel like is a little more not boring, but a
Mhm.
little more boring than basketball. A little slower pace. I mean, so I've always liked basketball a little more, and I'd say that's probably why it's just more nonstop, going doing stuff. So
So was possibly playing two sports out of school? I know Minnesota offered you them both. Iowa offered you them both. Like, was that an opportunity to play two sports at one school? Was it not given to you? Like, walk us through that a little bit.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I had probably six of them that offered me in both sports, I would guess. So I mean, it was nice to have that option, and they talked. A lot of the coaches were great about it and saying that I could play both there. Obviously, I know that'd be very tough to do, and I kind of just wanted to focus on one, and it was just figuring out which one to pick.
Now we do see long term, obviously, guys eventually after their college basketball career, even sometimes in the middle of it, they decide to switch sports. Like, could you ever see yourself trying football out again at some point?
I don't see myself doing it. No, I see myself focusing all in on basketball, and that's what I enjoy doing the most right now. So I'm all in on basketball.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned a second ago, you obviously had your torn meniscus, which caused you to miss your junior season and then a little bit in the AAU season. But obviously, you're back on the court. We saw you playing through SSB, looking good again. Take us through the injury rehab process, how strong you feel right now, and just walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. So the process was slow right away. I mean,
Hmm.
not doing much therapy. I mean, I couldn't put weight on my leg for the first 6 weeks, so that was the hardest part. Just getting around on crutches the entire time. But once I started being able to put my foot on it, I was a little bit ahead of schedule, so I could start walking right away. Um, Started jogging probably a little bit sooner. So once I got to that point where I was actually doing stuff, my therapy got easier. Where I was actually doing leg press, things like that, not just working on stretches. So I then it got to where it wasn't awful. It was kind of like working out again in some sort of way. So then it got a little bit easier, and now I'd say I'm fully back. I'm doing everything, lifting, all that stuff. So I mean, once once I got to probably a month ago, I'd say I finally felt like I was fully back, and now it feels like it's continuing to even get stronger.
The AAU season, the games you did get to play had to be big for you because the previous year you didn't get to play because of COVID, at least for the most part. Then you have your injury, missed majority of your high school seasons. Take us through just getting back on that court, playing with D1 Minnesota. Just what was it like getting back on that court and playing again?
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't played high level competition in about a about a year. So I mean, it was really nice to be able to get back out there and play with just some guys that I had known a little bit, but not. It was also different from playing with your school teammates. I mean, you're going playing higher levels, you're playing with different people, so it just brings a different aspect. And I enjoyed doing that and enjoy getting back out there.
Now you do have your senior season in front of you now, your final year of high school basketball. You're 100%. You made your commitment, so you can really truly just focus all in on basketball. How excited are you for the season?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We've been putting in a lot of work. Looking forward to hopefully going deep and hopefully having a successful season. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah,
So by the end of this next season, so about 5, 6 months, whatever exactly it is, what's everything you want to accomplish throughout the year? Like what's more personal accolades, team awards, like what's the things that you want to get done for you to say, this was a successful year for me?
I don't think there's really any specific personal accolades. I'd say just go out there, be a good teammate, give it all I got every single night. Obviously, after not playing last year, you kind of realize you're fortunate when you do get to play. I mean, it's anything can happen any night. So I mean, team wise, I think we should have a good team. Obviously, I think we'll be successful. Hopefully, we make it to state. I mean, I think that's the goal. So I mean, we'd obviously like to make the state tournament, like to win the state tournament. So we'll see how it goes. We got a lot of things to improve on, a lot of things to do in order to get there. So
Are there any things you want to personally improve on over the next year? Obviously, you're getting back, just getting to play again, but are there certain things you want to get better at over the next year and take it on campus?
I'd say I definitely got to be able to get a little bit bigger, probably a little bit more physical to handle all the physicality at the next level. Obviously, it's a whole nother game than at the high school level. I would say, like I said before, my jump shot, I feel like that's another level I have to add in order to be successful. So I think those are probably the main things. And then just defensively continue probably again with the bigger, I'll be able to guard bigger positions, not always have to guard the one or the two. If I get a little bigger, I can guard the three, maybe even the four. So
And once again, obviously, we know different guys are going to come and go, but is there a certain number that you might be looking to wear at Iowa State? Like, is there some number that fans could expect you to be rocking out with throughout your Iowa State career?
I've always I've always been number one since my seventh grade year.
Mhm.
Like if I got to choose, that would be my number, but I'm not like whatever I have to wear there. It's not like I have to have it, but yeah, if I got my choice, that would be what it is.
Absolutely. Well, a couple more Iowa State things before we start wrapping this up. One of which is just going a little bit deeper into Coach Otzelberger. He's obviously a great young coach. He's made it through the ranks really quickly. Now he's back at where he really started, his home at Iowa State. How special is he, and just what can Iowa State fans expect him to do over his career there?
I think getting to know him over the years, he's working all the time. I mean, doesn't sleep much. He's always working. Always, he's going to put in his effort. He's going to do everything he can to get this program in the right direction. So, I mean, just knowing that, knowing you're going to have somebody at the top of the program doing that should also push everybody below him to be doing it also. So,
If you could describe him in one word, what would that be?
probably energetic. I'd say he's always, anytime I see him, he's always yelling, always bringing energy. Outgoing guy, talker. I mean, yeah, I'd say just energetic.
And we do know that you guys can go back on campuses for some more vids and all that. Do you plan on getting out there at Iowa State again anytime soon? Go catch a football game, basketball game? Like, do you plan on visiting them any more times before you get on campus officially?
I'll take my official this coming weekend. So for the Iowa football game, I'll go catch that one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting there again. Hopefully, watching a couple practices. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Be a lot of fun. So
Absolutely. Well, something I was like wrapping up discussing is building your legacy because I know that all guys want to be remembered for something. So when that day does come and you wrap up your basketball career, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court?
I'd say just remembered as a guy who always gave everything he's had and was a really good teammate. Always worked as hard as he could and did whatever he could do to help the team, no matter what the role was.
I know you're also a believer, so take us through your faith a little bit. Like, how has God helped get you to the point you're at today?
Yeah, I think well, God's blessed me to be in the situation I'm in with the family in the area I grew up in. It's
Mhm.
given me a lot of opportunities, and I'd say, I mean, he's given me abilities that a lot of guys don't have, athleticism wise, and it's on me to take advantage and take advantage of them. I mean, not everybody's given these opportunities. A lot of kids would kill to have the opportunities. So, I mean, I'd kind of feel bad if I wasn't to take advantage of it. So, I mean, yeah, I'm blessed to be put in the situation and given the abilities I have.
Where would you say is the biggest moment or time you've seen God show up in your life so far?
Uh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure that I have one moment. I mean, I think there's a lot of moments where you just notice little things. I'd say more so at this point. I wouldn't say I have one big moment where I've known, but yeah, it's just always knowing and always believing that he's on your side and pushing you to do better, to do things and be the right person.
I know for a lot of guys that grow up in a Christian household, like you kind of born into it, raised in it, but would you say there's a certain point you remember that you really started trusting God and really formed that own personal one-on-one relationship with him?
Yeah, I'd say definitely continuing to do it. I mean, we all know we're not there yet and you got to continue doing it. So, I mean, but yeah, definitely growing up, it was more your parents are telling you, and helping you with it. But then as you get older, you got to realize like it's on you yourself too. I mean, I'm old enough now to know that I got to continue to build it on myself and continue to be the right way and act the right way.
Your platform is going to continue to grow as you go throughout college and then possibly a pro career after that. So how do you like to spread his light and be his light now when you get a larger and larger platform?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're doing even making mistakes right now, big mistakes, obviously you're going to make mistakes, but big ones that'll be on your record for a while. So, I mean, you can't be having that, and you got to be going about things the right way and respecting everybody. And I'd say just doing things the right way. You don't want something to happen now that'll bug you 7 years down the road, 10 years down the road, whatever it is. So I'd say it's just about doing the right things right now. And as soon as you can figure that out, it'll help you.
Absolutely, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Iowa State fans your 3 biggest goals you have set for your Iowa State career.
One would definitely be to win the Big 12. I'd probably say Big 12 regular season, Big 12 championship for the tournament, and probably a Final Four appearance would probably be the biggest 3 that I'd like to achieve.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on the big commitment once again. I'm excited to see what God got next for you, and appreciate taking time to come on today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, look, come on, man. God bless.
Thank you. See you.